What's up? What's up? What's up? It's a beautiful day in Miami, and it's another Dynasty Life Miami podcast. It's your boy B, joined as always by the big dog JP. What's up, my brother?
What's going on? Only 1 week left, so we got some football, not even, because Thursday we get a game. What's happening?
That's right, man. We are less than a week away. This is going to be the last podcast before the season starts. We got some news and notes. We got some my guys to talk about. So before we jump into that, like always, man, you got to go follow us. You got to go hit us on that Twitter at Dynasty Life MIA. Go follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's at Dynasty Life Miami, all one word. And of course, you got to go hit us up at the YouTube page. My boy JP is always loading it up with these mini reports, these mini videos coming out with this information flying out at you. So go hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's at Dynasty Life Miami. That's all one word. Bro, JP, tell them where they can find you at, man.
They can find me at Salazar305 on Twitter. They can find us at Dynasty Life MIA on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram.
I mean, we're everywhere, bro. We're everywhere, dog. So go into one of your socials, type us, find us, hit that follow button. You can follow me at Uncommon Sense on Twitter because I be coming with that sense that is no longer common, bro. It is what it is, dog. So we're getting started. It's been a little bit since we recorded. Crazy life going on. You're a new dad. I hear that you're somehow haven't slept in the past 3 weeks. Is that true?
Yeah, man. You know how that is. You have a child. You have a child that's a teenager already yourself. So I'm pretty sure that you know exactly what I'm going through. It's been rough, man. But getting accustomed to it, getting
Yeah.
accustomed to it, and learning how to live in life, and raise my baby, bro.
That's what it is, man. But Dynasty don't stop, football don't stop. So while we were on a little mini hiatus, there was things happening all across the league. So this episode, we're gonna touch on some news and notes, how it may have shaken things up for your rosters. And at the end of the show, we're gonna have a couple little my guys, some people that we're gonna be talking about, where we feel maybe players to keep an eye on that we think, and at least on my side, for my guys that I think are going to be able to outperform their ADP and be real, maybe little mini surprises in the league based on how people are looking at them. So let's jump right in, dog. And the first thing we're going to talk about, another running back goes down. It's horrible news, bro. J.K. Dobbins tears his ACL in a meaningless preseason game. It's depressing to lose another young running back like that. So we're going to talk about what this means for Dobbins' fantasy value, who's the next man up. I've been talking for a little. I got some stuff to say, but I'm going to pass it over to you real quick, and you give us your breakdown, and then I'm going to jump in after.
I mean, I see a lot of people already trying to trade J.K. Dobbins, kind of like how they were doing Cam Akers, but this is a torn ACL. I've seen running backs come back from this injury. Will he come back from the injury? That's all speculation. We're gonna have to wait till next year. Is it bad? Is it a bad idea to get rid of him? I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea because I'm gonna put you a scenario. If they go ahead and draft a running back next draft, that's gonna be concerning for all you J.K. Dobbins owners. I don't think that he's done by any means. Like I said, I've seen plenty of running backs come back from this ACL injury, and what it does is Gus Edwards to the moon, man. Big back. I'm pretty sure he's gonna seize the moment, and I think he's gonna break. I think he's gonna break his touchdown high this season, man.
I mean,
I
yeah.
really do.
I mean, Gus Edwards is the play, right? For me, J.K. I wasn't really that high on him. I mean, you and me, we didn't really talk about him that much, right? I mean, he seemed like a dynamic player, but his skill set was a pass catching back who can run between the tackles. but Lamar wasn't throwing him the ball. So I really didn't have a lot of JK anywhere really. It's a torn ACL. It's not a torn Achilles like with what Cam Akers is dealing with. You hit it right on the head, bro. Players come back from torn ACLs all the time. So I'm not really that concerned about the injury, but he's losing a year of playing time, and I wasn't high on him anyways. I wouldn't sell him, right? I mean, like it's not like Cam Akers where you're afraid he's never gonna come back. He's probably gonna come back. He'll probably be the same player he was gonna be before, but it wasn't a guy I was into anyway. So to me, he's a high end RB2, and to me, it's status quo for me as far as JK. And you hit it again, bro. Gus Edwards is the play. We talked about him. We talked about him in the podcast before. He has a career average of 5 yards per carry. All right. He's only 20. He's already 26 years old, so he's a little older. To me, this is not a long-term dynasty play, bro. But I think he can be a real nice RB2 for people that have started drafting him. My concern is in drafts going on right now, people started drafting him almost in the same range as they were drafting JK, and I just think that's not a bright move right there. I mean, he's gonna have value, he's gonna play, but he's not a long-term dynasty solution. He's a one-year rental in my mind. If you have him and you need him, I say you ride him out. And if you don't need him, if you're not on a contender, trade him, bro. Trade him for a second. Trade him for a high upside guy. Maybe you can trade him for Darnell Mooney, something like that, to a team that needs a running back and think that he's gonna play. What do you think of that deal? I mean, would you if you didn't need him, you're not a contender, would you flip him for Darnell Mooney, or would you think you need more or a second? What would you think?
I would try to flip it to to a person that's in contention,
Yeah, of
to the
course.
person that's probably gonna get me if I ask for a first. If I try to ask for a first to get a first in my initial offer, he's gonna give me a back like a 1.9, 1.10, 1.11, or a 1.12, right? So I'm here thinking, let me try to get a back end first round pick, depending on how hype these guys are. Because I'm gonna tell you something, I'm not with drafting him so high on a startup, but if you're going for a championship and you got a good team and you got good chances, I would pick this guy up in a heartbeat and trade a second for him right now, because he's going to help you win on the back end of the season. Gus Edwards is a big back, and there's nothing else to say. We already told you how much he averages, over 5 yards a carry. In the goal line touches, I think he's going to break his touchdown high this year. Barry, any type of injury that he gets, I think he's going to have the best year, the best season of his career. I'm on the train, and I think he's a move for redraft as well. Redraft, if he goes, I don't have a problem with him going where J.K. Dobbins goes in redrafts, because it's only 1 year. But dynasty wise, I agree with you. I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that at all. Remember, this is dynasty. This is just more than 1 year. This is exactly why I'm telling people that are in contention to go ahead and grab this guy, because this he's there for the haul. He's a tough dude, and he can help you win a championship. It's just I see it happening. I just see it
Yeah.
happening.
And so JK goes down, Gus takes over. So the real question is, right? We were drafting Gus. We talked about him drafting him in the middle, in the later rounds. You wanted to grab him. He had standalone value, right? We talked about how he was going to get points for you, even if JK was gonna be playing. So now JK's out. Gus steps in. The real question is, who's the new Gus Edwards, right? Who's that next back, the next man up? That if something happens to Gus Edwards, or they're not gonna, just like they weren't giving all the work to J.K. Dobbins, they weren't gonna give all the work to Gus Edwards. They're not gonna. It's not all of a sudden like Gus Edwards gonna get a million carries. So who's the next man up? And on the team, they got two guys. They got Tyson Williams and they got Justice Hill. Justice Hill is not it, bro. He is not it. They drafted him several seasons ago. He has not popped off. He has not done anything. And everything I'm reading says Tyson Williams has leapfrogged Justice Hill on the depth chart. So he is the new number two. Tyson Williams is the new Gus Edwards. Okay, so if we were getting Gus late because we knew that Baltimore was going to run the ball, and there was work for both Gus and J.K., then now it's even more true. Tyson could have value, and he could be an RB3 flex spot for you. And again, another possible lottery ticket if something happens to JK. So Tyson Williams is the guy to grab if he's still out there. Okay. And he's also maybe a guy in redraft or in dynasty that no one's, they're picking him up. They don't know anything about a third round, a fourth round pick, garbage picks that you can just flip and get someone else later anyways. that might be a sneaky move for people.
Brandon dropping them gems. You better pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what Dynasty football is all about.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. It's all about the next man up, right? It's the next man up. That's what the National Football League stands for, and that's how we do it in Dynasty, bro. So We're moving off from the JK injury, which sucks, bro. We're gonna move on to the Sony trade. All right. As we know, Sony Michel, the first round draft pick for the Patriots, who never really took off. He had a good year here and there, but that knee injury that he had from Georgia really affected him, and he was never really able to take off. He gets traded away. This has implications for both teams. We talked about Henderson. We said, don't be trading a first round pick for Henderson. We said it.
Mm-hmm.
We said slow the fuck down. They're gonna bring somebody else in. Sony's coming in. What does this mean? In my mind, right? Sony comes over. I still like Henderson. Don't get me wrong. I still like Henderson, but obviously the team doesn't trust him. That's why we said don't trade a first round pick. They drafted Henderson and they said they saw him for a season and they said fuck that and they drafted Cam Akers. Cam Akers goes down. Xavier Jones not good enough. They go grab Sony. Okay, I think it's gonna be a split backfield. I think Henderson is still gonna get the workload, but Sony really has some talent there, bro. And Sony, even though the Patriots didn't use him because they had James White, Sony's one of his best skills in college was catching the ball. Do we see him become that PPR back over there with the Rams? And does he start scoring some points, man? What do you think as far as Sony and Henderson and the Rams, brother?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that you guys, that's why you guys gotta listen to the show, man, because I talked about guys going and spending all their FAAB money on Jake Funk and Xavier Jones, and look at this. Look at what we have here. And what did I tell Brandon in that episode? I told him they're gonna bring somebody in. They're gonna bring somebody in. It's not gonna be an all-star, but they're gonna bring somebody in, and that's those are the things you don't want to do. So, once again, something that we called out here on the podcast happening. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to tune in and listen to us. Go ahead and drop those comments, even if you don't agree with us, because we want to get better. But these are the type of things that we want to point out because we want you guys to know that we are legit when we come up with our stuff. We do not just come up with stuff just to throw it out there. We do our studying. We are actually take pride in this. We're in a gazillion leagues. We live this all year round. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and keep going, buddy.
Yeah. So Sony goes over to the Rams, and to me, let's talk a little bit about Patriots because we got a couple of spots where we're gonna talk about them a little. I got my guy in the Patriots that we're gonna talk about, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But this tells me, okay, that it is going to be that Damian Harris is going to get a little more play than we thought, right? I think this means Damian Harris is going to get a little bit more play. I know there's a lot of hype going on about Ramondre Stevenson. I get it. He looked good in the preseason, but again, it was against the backup players. His workout numbers don't look very good. Now, could he be a completely different back than he used to be in college? It's certainly possible. Could he end up running a faster? I mean, he ran a 4.6 something on the pro day. Could he be a little bit faster than that? That's very possible. But for a back to change completely night and day within a couple months of what he used to be till now, the probabilities are that it might not be the case. So, if they're getting rid of Sony, that means they're comfortable with Ramondre. That means they're comfortable with Damian Harris. And that means whatever work Sony was going to get, it's going to go to me. The majority is going to go to Damian, and probably they'll sprinkle in a little bit more Ramondre. So I think this just cements that Damian Harris, that's one less mouth to feed. That's one less, running back for Bill Belichick to fuck with our heads with. So I think that's a plus, and it's got to cement a little bit more how confident they are with the running backs that they have.
Yeah, back to the Rams. I think that this is great for the Rams. It just shows that Henderson is not really on a long leash. He's more on a short leash. Let's see what happens. Could it be? I think it starts out 70-30 share, man. And it ends up being either a 50-50 or Sony just takes over. especially if those skills from college that he had catching the ball transcend into right now, because I'm pretty sure he hasn't lost those skills. But what I'm saying is they actually use them and utilize them. What they didn't do with him in New England. This could be a super sleeper, but we're gonna have to see how this unfolds. And on the Patriots side, I'm definitely with you, buddy. I mean, another one less running back that Belichick has, so we one less person we got to worry about. And it just goes to show that they're really, really comfortable with Damian Harris, where they're at with Damian Harris, with Ramondre Stevenson. I think that if Harris goes down and Stevenson takes the ball, we're gonna see what Stevenson's made of. It's one thing to run over second and third teams, but I want to see him do this against the first teams. Even though I haven't seen people running over second and third teams like that consecutive games in a row, so he wants to run the ball. So I'm just dying to see him against the first team. Hopefully they'll have some type of share, whether it's a 60-40 share, where that we can see what this guy's made of, and see what kind of 1-2 punch the Patriots got.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I'm excited to see him, and let's keep that going, because the next group that we're going to talk about, the next situation we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the surprise that was blowing up Twitter when I woke up that morning. Cam Newton being released, man. It was not a battle and seeing who's going to start week 1. Flat out, Cam, you're out the door. Thanks for what you did. And Cam spelled backwards is Mac, and that's Mac Jones, bro. So, you know,
For all
you
you
know,
dyslexic people out there, you know what I'm saying? We
yeah.
down with
So,
y'all.
Cam's gone. Mac Jones has popped up. So tell me, JP. Cam's out the door. Mac Jones taking over. What does this mean for the Patriots? The skill position players, and if you want to touch a little bit, what do you think this means for Cam's future in the league?
I think that this just solidifies that Mac Jones is the truth, man. As much as everybody said that he was, not ready or whatever, he was, he's not one of those guys that were NFL ready. I think that Bill Belichick just loves this guy. There's a lot of things surrounding Cam's situation. A lot of people are saying, and a lot of sources are saying that he didn't want to take the COVID vaccine shot, so that became and he made a big fuss over it, so that became an issue, and that was probably most of the reason why he's out. But no, no, I'm not gonna take any credit from Mac Jones, man. I love the way he looked in the preseason, and let's be frank, man. He's gonna do exactly what Bill's gonna tell him. You understand? He's gonna follow directions, and that in itself, it speaks volumes. He's gonna be a great quarterback in that system. You don't have to have the best arm in the world in that system. You just need to go through your progressions and follow the playbook. It's all you have to do. Is very simple. That's why Brissett was able to do it. That's why Garoppolo was able to do it. Sometimes Garoppolo looked even better than Brady doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous. So if he could just do that, I think this is he's gonna be throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. But right now, they look more like a running team, which is going to ease him into the offense, which is good. He has no pressure to throw the ball. And then once he feels comfortable, he's going to have a disgusting play action fake. And I think we're going to be in for a treat, Brandon. Even though I am a Dolphin fan, they're in our division, but I love Dynasty football. I have to say it how it is. I can't hold back. I want to see this kid play.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. I mean, like we talked about it. We talked about it when we were talking super flex and these young rookies, and Mac Jones was falling. Like he was falling all the way to the end of the first, second round picks, dude. Second round pick in a super flex league. He's gonna do well. They got a really good offensive line there. And for Cam just was not accurate, bro. And when we're looking at the games, we're like, oh, he had a good game. And he was still throwing ducks out there, right? He doesn't got timing. He's not a timing quarterback. He was a guy who was an athletic freak who could run the ball and had a big arm. He was never ever a guy who was supposed to be known for his accuracy. As you get older, your athletics start to go down, and you can no longer be like the biggest, baddest guy in the field. You got to start winning with your brain. You got to start winning knowing the playbook. And everything I've read says that he just could not get that timing down. So Mac Jones takes over. And for me, this is great for everybody involved. It's great for the wide receivers and it's great for the tight ends because, again, Jones is more accurate. He's less inclined to run the ball when things go south. And if he's not running the ball, he's going to be dumping it off. He's going to be hitting it to, he's going to be hitting it to the running backs. He's going to be hitting it to the tight ends, the wide receivers. Hey, this is good for your boy Jacoby Myers, right? Jacoby gets a bump. He's the number one on this team. To me, it's not Nelson Aguilar, even though they paid Nelson a lot of money, and it's not Kendrick Bourne. I don't know why they paid him a lot of money. It's Jacoby Myers. And I think this guy can be a wide receiver 3 or 4 with upside in PPR on your team. I think this guy can be a really good flex play. He's a guy you can put in where in bye weeks and your starter goes down, he's going to get you points. And I know you don't believe it. I know. I think this is good for Jonnu. I think Jonnu Smith, he's a super athletic freak of a tight end. His only enemy is injuries. He has trouble staying healthy, but so does Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry has trouble staying healthy. So I think this is great for Jonnu. And, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, bro, but I think this is great for Damian Harris, bro. Cam Newton will not be stealing the goal line work. It's not going to be Cam Newton on the 5-yard line or the 1-yard line, running the ball in every single time. The tight ends the running backs couldn't get touchdowns. That means Damian Harris is going to get the goal line work. And so I think Damian Harris, I don't think he's going to be a league winner. He's nothing super crazy, but he can be a nice running back 2, and you can still get him as a running back 3. Okay, so you can load up on wide receiver early in your draft, or you can trade wide receiver 3, running back 3 prices, and get yourself a Damian Harris. And for Cam, I think this has to be the end of Cam as a starter, at least for right now. I don't see him being the type of guy that wants to be a backup. And even if he says he wants to be a backup, it kind of reminds me of like Carmelo Anthony. Back in the day, the guy they were saying, come off the bench, and he didn't want to do that, right? And I see like the same kind of mindset with a Cam Newton. He's used to being the one. He was the number 1 pick. He doesn't want to be a backup, and how much of a distraction is he going to being in the locker room as an old school veteran that wants to play, and every time the young guy screws up, someone's calling for him to come in. So I don't know if anybody signs him right now. For me, what looks good, the only thing that could be for him is if a starter goes down, a playoff team, someone that has playoff and Super Bowl aspirations, their starter goes down. Cam Newton is a guy you call, but I don't know. I don't see him signing anywhere right now. What do you think?
Well, first of all, you're on fire today, bro. I love all those points that you brought up with him not taking the goal line work from Damian Harris, which is why Damian Harris is getting a bump up. I love all those notes that you got, bro. Mayers is definitely you already know we busted a trade yesterday where I gave you a second 15 FAAB dollars for Mayers because you beat me to the punch getting him with from because somebody dropped him insanely, and we both went after him, and you ended up with him, and I ended up trading with you because you got to be aggressive sometimes. I got that team. I literally did a draft. A supplemental draft, which it wasn't even a full draft. It was just a couple teams in there. And I'm building my team, so I went after him. And those things that we're going to talk about on another episode when you take over orphans and stuff like that, what to do, what not to do. We're going to have shows on that as well because sometimes I'm really bored and I love taking over orphans. But back to Cam. Rumors are that you're absolutely right, Brandon. He's not going to start right now. So what they're saying is he's probably going to either be the backup to Dak Prescott. Those are some of the rumors I've heard. Or he's going to back up Tyrod Taylor. That's the only, they're pretty good rumors because I can see him going to either one of those places. And yeah, right now he's saying he's not going to do that. But when he's sitting around not doing nothing in his house, figures out that he can be sitting on the bench getting $10 to $12 million or anywhere from $8 to $12 million a year just sitting on the bench backing somebody up, I think he might change his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with that. And yeah, as far as the Patriots, I think everybody gets a bump up, man. I think this kid, I can't wait to see him ball. I know Mayers is the truth because I seen Mayers do it, Jacoby do it with various quarterbacks, not just one. I seen Mac Jones throw it to him. I seen Cam Newton throw it to him. And yeah, we got a little bit excited about Cam. We finally see him hitting a little bit of passes, but he wasn't really hitting anybody in stride. He was just completing passes. And when you're getting excited about those type of things, which you shouldn't be getting excited about because you want to see this guy play good, I think that's another reason why New England moved on from him. I think Mac Jones is more accurate, and I think they can live without Cam Newton's legs because they're really not that great anymore. And they can let this kid play in the system as the system is designed for Bill Belichick.
Yep. True words, bro. True words, dog. So now it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, we're Dolphins fans, but I'm actually excited to see what this offense is going to be like. Because basically all we saw the preseason was back and forth, Cam and Mac. So now it's Mac's team. I'm excited to see how the offense is going to look 100% his team without planned and prepared for him. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Cam Newton with the rest of his career. But as always, we're moving on, dog. We're going to move on. Now, we're going to talk a little science to some people. To some people, this may not seem like a big deal. Will, why are you spending some time on this? I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but when I saw it, I was intrigued. I was a little excited by this pickup. So we're going to talk Wayne Gallman signing in Atlanta. Um, what are your thoughts on this? What does it mean for Mike Davis? What do you think about Wayne Gallman? What do you think?
Man, if you have Mike Davis, you need to go get this guy right now. We've already talked on previous shows, many podcasts on the decline of Mike Davis mid-season, towards the end of the season. He starts declining massively. Anything happens to Mike Davis, this is the guy that's gonna take the ball. And he plays really hard. And I think he finally gets an opportunity in ATL. When the opportunity arises, I have no idea. But like I've said before, Mike Davis is a great running back. He has great, he starts off really good, but he starts declining. And this is something that he's done with a lot of teams. He did it with the Carolina, backing up McCaffrey. He did it in Chicago. He would have really good games at the beginning of the season, or he would come in mid-season, and after around the fifth or sixth games, he starts fading. You know what I'm saying? So having Wayne Gallman, first of all, it's not gonna cost you nothing. So you need to go get him because this is the type of things and these are the type of moves that'll win you a championship, and these are the type of players that'll win you the championship on the back end of the season. They look like the name right now doesn't ring bells, but when you got Mike Davis and you have him, you automatically have the backfield. Anything happens to Mike Davis, you look like a genius, just like all the people that picked up Mac Jones in the later rounds, in the second round, and now they got themselves a starting quarterback. Kudos to y'all. These are the type of things that you can make your team better in a snap of the fingers. It doesn't take years if you pay attention to what you're doing. So yeah, I think this is something for all Mike Davis owners to go get this guy. He's probably out available in the free agent market. Go spend a couple FAB dollars on this guy. I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth it. Even if nothing happens to Mike Davis, I'm sure he's gonna have a couple games with maintenance where they're not gonna play him, and this guy's gonna be able. He's gonna be a plug RB3 for sure, maybe RB2, depending how fast he learns that offense. I think that this is something that people need to go get, and it's not a mission. It's not something that's hard to do. You need to go do it right now. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I went in all the leagues that he was available. I put in waiver claims, right? I did it if I'm a contender because he's a good guy to have on your team, and I did it if I'm not a contender because then I want to trade him. Okay, because let's be honest, people were drafting and picking up Quadre Olison. All right, why were they picking up Quadre Olison, who sucked? He sucked since he came into the league. They were picking him up because the only person in front of him was Mike Davis. Okay, so if you're gonna pick up Olison, Gallman is better than Olison. Okay, Olison had no shot at stopping Mike Davis. No shot at getting carries away. I mean, they were gonna use him, but he was not about to threaten Mike Davis's job. Gallman is so much better than Olison, and he's younger than Mike Davis. And let's talk about Wayne Gallman a little bit, bro. I picked him up last year. I mean, Barkley goes down. Who was the backup running back for the fucking Giants? It was Wayne Gallman. And from I believe week 7 or week 8 up until or week 9, but there was a period of like 4, 5, 6 weeks when Gallman took over that he was running back 7. Okay? This guy, and this was on a shitty Giants team. He has abilities, he has skills. I mean, the 49ers paid this guy. He was their first one of their first free agent signings. Okay. And that's why people were drafting him. But guess what, man? The 49ers didn't let him go because he sucks. The 49ers let him go because they have a million running backs, right? They didn't know they were going to be able to get Trey Sermon. They didn't know they were going to get Elijah Mitchell. Okay. And Mostert's been somewhat healthy. So, they were not gonna keep this fourth string running back and pay him all that money. So he gets released. The Atlanta gets him. So I still think, so this is my thought. I still think Mike Davis is the starter, okay? But I think this is actually possibly positive for Mike Davis in the fact that, like you said, he starts to wear down as the season go on. He's 28 years old. He's been a journeyman his whole career. He's never really had a starting gig that lasted other than Carolina last year. So Gallman coming in, being able to take some carries, that might make Mike Davis last longer. He might be able to make it through the whole season, okay, which is a positive. But again, who's the next man up? There's no one else on that team, okay, and there's no free agents sitting out there that are available that are better than Wayne Gallman. So again, if and when Mike Davis gets injured, okay, Wayne Gallman comes in and he's going to be a starter for several games, okay, and he has the ability that if Mike Davis sucks or something, he lost the juice that he had last year. It was maybe a magical year, and he goes out there playing. He's got no juice. That wiggle's gone. Wayne Gallman can just take the fucking job from him. So I'm getting Wayne Gallman everywhere I can. And like you said, those are the type of moves that maybe nothing happens. Fine, nothing happens. He didn't cost you much. You drop him and you go to the next guy. But those are the type of players in these ambiguous backfields where we don't know who can end up leading the league, the team in carries. Those are the type of guys you go after.
Yeah. And even if he doesn't win you a championship, let's say that Mike Davis goes down for like 3 or 4 games in the middle of the season, and you plug him in and he gives you and you got to win in those 3 4 week seasons. You're winning right there. That's
Yeah.
making you get to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of things that you got to do and the moves that you got to make because you never know when you're gonna need that card to play it. You know what I mean? So it's a very simple move. Like Brandon said, maybe nothing happens. But at the end of the day, it doesn't cost you anything. Because if something happens, then you look like a G. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to move on from this. Are you done with this?
Yeah, I'm done, bro. So let's uh
Uh,
let's move on to the next one, bro. Uh it seems like a minor thing. Again, these smaller moves, these smaller things that happen, they have bigger repercussions than a lot of people may think. Okay, so you want to take a step back and look at the big picture. Okay, so we're gonna talk about T.Y. Hilton's injury, right? I wasn't drafting Ty. Were you drafting Ty Hilton?
no, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. So people out there are probably saying the same fucking thing. I wasn't drafting him. Who cares? Well, let me tell you why you should care about Ty going down and what the next steps are. Because the Colts wanted Ty Hilton. The Colts re-signed him and left him on the team, and he was the veteran on the team. So whether we thought he was gonna be good or not, and whether we were drafting or not, he was gonna get targets. They were gonna throw the ball to him. All right. But now his fucking neck is all fucked up, right? So his targets and him being on the field is now not going to happen. They put him on IR. It's the short term IR, but I don't see this guy coming back from a neck problem within 3 weeks. So more than
Nah.
likely, it's going to be longer. So this is why it's important because who's the next man up now that the veteran is gone? All right, and the targets that he were going to get are available. Now is where you see who's going to get those targets. Okay, and so you're dealing with Michael Pittman gets a bump. Okay, now he becomes probably the biggest beneficiary. So you got Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell. Now Paris Campbell has another block moved out of his way. He's a second round pick of the Colts a couple years ago. He's had trouble staying healthy, but he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Now T.Y. Hilton's out of the way. Does Paris Campbell get a bump? And another name, the boring name, but the name that's probably gonna get you the most points, Zach Pascal. Okay, this guy, boring ass name, but last year scoring points. Okay, he was scoring you 10, 11, 12 points every other game. Okay, because he was the only guy available, and Michael Pittman wasn't firing regularly. So the cheapest option out of all of them, you get a Zach Pascal, and he could hit. But if not, the beauty of it, if he doesn't hit week one, Zach Pascal's not involved. You drop him, you hit the waiver wire, and you find a new guy. But for Dynasty, it's all about Pittman and Paris Campbell. These two guys are getting more opportunities now than they were going to get before. T.Y. Hilton's out of the way. Carson Wentz is going to be looking for one of these guys. Who I'm excited to see which one of them gets the ball and what they can do with it.
Well, guys, like I've already said this past in previous podcast, go get yourself Jacob Eason. I'm telling you guys, if you guys are gonna have a backup quarterback sitting in your roster not doing nothing, go and drop him and pick this guy up. Because I don't think Carson Wentz is completely healed from this foot. First of all, they bring him back, then they say he's not good for week one, then they say he is good for week one. So there's a lot of back and forth with this. But you're right, Brandon. I mean, who comes out of this winning the most? We're gonna have to see. I like Zach Pascal as well as a sleeper here because he's done it with a bunch of quarterbacks, not just one. And he's always catching passes. And if you can get 10, 11 points for a guy that you can probably pick up right now in the waiver wire, I
Right now,
think,
he's on the waiver. Right now,
yeah,
nobody drafted Zach Pascal. I can bet you, unless it was me every now and then. If not, he's on the waiver, guaranteed,
yeah.
bro.
Unless no, I got him on. I'm not gonna lie, brother. I got him on a bunch of my teams. That's like one of my deep back end guys. He's been one of my back end guys for the past 4 or 5 years. I'm gonna be insanely honest with you. This is somebody that I've plugged in crazy times when I've needed him to score me, 10, 12 points. He's sometimes gotten me 18 points. Like, he's came through for me. And he's not a household name. He's really not. But he's done this with a bunch of quarterbacks, whether the quarterback is good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter. He's done it with all types of quarterbacks. So, I'm just antsy to see who Carson Wentz, if Carson Wentz ends up being the starter, who he gels with the most. Sleeper for the Colts as well. That guy Strachan. Sometimes he's going in the back ends of deep drafts, like in 26 rounds. Sometimes he's not even going. If you can pick this guy up on the waiver wire, he looked good in preseason. I'm not a fan of the preseason. Remember, me and Brandon weren't too crazy about this preseason. They weren't really starting the starters. They weren't really showing us what they usually show us in preseason and what we're accustomed to in the past, and it's kind of sucks. So it kind of like you want to get excited, but I like what I saw from this guy, and I'm just antsy, and I'm trying to see, what's going to happen with Wentz. Is he going to start? Is he not going to start? And if Eason is good or if he's just a backup, I'm dying to see that too because I like this guy's measures. He's 6'6" or 6'5", and he weighs 220 some pounds. He's tall. He can see the field. Can he throw it? I'm dying to see if he can, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think Michael Straken, the guy that you mentioned, Strachan, whatever, I think that's a good guy to bring up. For me, he's that type of guy that maybe you're not a contender, maybe you took an over an orphan, like JP said, and you're just trying to put talent on your team, right? You're trying to grab these maybe home run guys or these guys that for that you can get for cheap or for nothing that maybe become something and then you could sell them. So he's one of those guys that if you're not a contender, if I'm a contender, I'm probably not wasting a roster spot on him because there's too many unknowns. But if I'm not a contender, that's the type of guy you grab and you put him on there. And as soon as he hits, as soon as he fires, you sell his ass because the odds are he's not going to be anything super special. And you got to just keep turning that roster, keep getting picks for that guys.
No, yeah, you don't want to get stuck with the next Travis Fulgham. That's
Yeah,
for damn sure.
I mean
And
that's literally. I mean you couldn't have said it better, bro. I like Eason. I grabbed him in a couple leagues. I mean, in my opinion, I think Wentz is going to start. I think he's going to start. All he was moving around. That foot looks good. The Quentin Nelson, the guy had the same foot surgery. The offensive guard, and he's moving just as good, man. So I mean, if
okay.
it was just Wentz by himself, I would be a little wary of what truth is coming out versus not. But the fact that another guy on the same team had the same surgery and then at the same time and is moving just the same way tells me that if I ever have a foot problem, I need to call that doctor because apparently that doctor knows what the fuck he's doing, bro.
No,
So
yeah, for sure.
we're going for that, right? Like that's what we call. Like, but let's move. We're gonna move to the last news and notes before we get into our guys. And this one, man, this one hurt, dog, because there was a lot. We talked about this guy earlier in one of our shows. And we were a little excited. We were a little worried, but we were excited about him and about his potential. Irv Smith, man. Irv Smith goes down with a knee injury. He has surgery, and it looks like he's done for the season. What does this mean for the Vikings offense, man? What What are your thoughts, bro?
Conklin to the moon, champ. I've been talking about Conklin. I was telling you about Conklin. He's bro. That guy's gonna ball it, bro, and that's gonna be Cousins' new favorite target. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing the ball to him last year towards the end of the season quite a lot. He actually blocks, which is the thing that they don't like about Irv Smith, which is why they don't have Irv Smith. Irv Smith's a beast. Offensively, you can line this kid anywhere. I'm not, but like as a full tight end, like that blocks really good. Conklin is one of those tight ends that he blocks really good, and he may not be as athletic as Irv Smith Jr., but like I think that he's gonna get a load of volume. They just brought in Chris Herndon. Chris Herndon still needs to earn that. He needs to learn that offense. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna take long learning that offense, but I think that Conklin is. I've been mentioning his name. If you went out and got him when I first mentioned him, and way back in the first couple podcasts, you're winning. If you can get Herndon, if you feel like you need insurance and you want to pick up Herndon, go ahead and do it. But I think Conklin is the more complete tight end here, and I think that Cousins is going to resonate with this guy. And he's not. Maybe he may not become nothing after this year, but if you got him and he's cheap as hell. Remember, this is what this show's all about. We're trying to get you guys here that are under the radar that are going to actually produce for you and actually get you points as opposed to a guy that everybody knows about that everybody's trying to trade for. That's what the show's about here, ladies and gentlemen. So soak it in. You know what I mean? I've been talking about this guy Conklin. I think this is the reason why the coach said that Irv Smith wasn't going to have much of a bigger role than he did last season because this guy does it all. He blocks, he can catch. He might not be as athletic, but maybe that's what they need more of. They need him to block and they need him to take people out of the way. You know what I'm saying? And then be open as hell on some plays because they're not even going to be looking at him, as opposed to as if Irv Smith were there. It's a different attention that you're putting at the position defensively. So I think this could be a very very huge sleeper and a good situation for a lot of people, and he's available out there.
Yeah,
Go
I
get
mean,
him.
I grabbed Conklin in a lot of leagues, bro. We talked about it, right? We said we liked them both, but what was probably going to end up happening was they were going to cannibalize each other, right? They were not. No one was going to be able to get as many targets because the other guy was there. I do worry about Herndon a little. I mean, they traded a fourth round pick for him, bro. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know why they traded a fourth round pick for him. He's never been able to do much with the Jets besides his rookie year.
Remember, they don't even have a number three receiver there, bro. They're lacking talent on the offensive side of the ball. They don't. Who's the third wide receiver? Is it Emar Smith? Is it gonna be BB? Is it gonna be the other guy? We don't know. We don't know what's going on. So they're weak at those positions on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that Herndon just gives them depth. I'm not saying that Herndon's not gonna play because he's definitely more athletic than Conklin is, but maybe he just gives them an extra body to run a two tight end set. Who
Yeah.
knows if they're trying to run that two tight end set? I'm not saying it's the greatest two tight end set in the world, but somebody's going to be open. One of them is going to be open. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And what it tells me too is it tells me that maybe I was a little too low on Adam Thielen this year, bro. It tells me that I think Adam Thielen, like you said, they don't have a wide receiver three of consequence. Irv Smith goes down. Herndon not that well. So we got Conklin who steps up. Maybe he does good, maybe he doesn't. But that I think that means Adam Thielen's gonna get the targets, man. I think he's gonna get the targets. He's gonna get the shots in the red zone, right? Because that's let's be honest, that's what Irv Smith was, right? He was a big body, athletic freak who could catch touchdowns in the end zone. That was a lot of my concern with Adam Thielen last year, who had 14 touchdowns. I was, I could not see him coming close to that number again this year. I don't see him getting 14 touchdowns. But this means that I think Adam Thielen solidifies himself again as a wide receiver to own this year, a wide receiver too. And all the people that were buying him up cheaper this year, or not for dynasty, but for redraft, or if you're a contender, I think Adam Thielen gives us one more year of good production, bro, before he falls off.
he's going to definitely get the targets. And I think you're right on there, brother. He's going to get the targets. There's nobody else to get the targets from him. And
Yeah.
he's already cemented in that offense. He's thrived in that offense. My only worry about him is his wear and tear. He's banged up, bro. Like he's been playing for a lot of years. If he can maintain himself, though, I think this is the great plug-in wide receiver too. He's gonna get the volume. He's gonna get it, and Cousins is gonna throw him the ball. You
Yeah.
know, it's not all gonna be Jefferson. Which is I think there's room for three to four guys to be relevant definitely in this offense. I think Jefferson's one of them. I think, and I'm talking about wide receivers because Dalvin Cook's obviously gonna eat. But I think there's enough room for Conklin, Jefferson, and Thielen to eat. Plus, what Cook is gonna do, I think there's enough room in that offense for all those guys to eat, man. I
Well,
don't think Jefferson's gonna produce what he did last year. I think he's gonna come close to it, but I don't think he's gonna surpass it.
so let me ask you a question. I know we didn't talk about it. We didn't prepare for it. So I'm gonna throw you a little curveball, man. You're talking about this offense. You're talking about all these some of these options. Does that mean Kirk Cousins is a value this year?
I think he's gonna be. I mean, he's always gonna be a value. He's been first of all, he's with the same guys that he's been with, and he looked really good last year throwing the ball to Jefferson. He looked really good last year throwing the ball to Conklin. It's all a matter of can they protect him. If they give him time, he's gonna eat up the defenses, man, because he's got a lot of talent. Thielen is a very good number two, and he has very good rapport with Thielen. His chemistry with Thielen is awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of they can block for him because he can't run. He's not mobile. That's the only bad thing about Cousins. But he's very gutsy, he's very, very scrappy. And if you give him time, he'll get the ball to Jefferson. He'll get the ball to Conklin. If he's getting rushed, he's gonna get the dump offs to Cook. So yeah, I think he's a value. I got him in my 2 QB league that you're in, the Dynasty Playground, man. I got him. I've had him. I haven't traded him because he's I ended up picking Kellen Mond just in case something happens to him, just for a backup plan because I really like his options this year. It's just to me the only concern is the offensive line. Do they protect him? Do they give him time? If that gets done, we're looking at a viable Kirk Cousins, man. We are.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think he's always a value. You said it yourself, and it's just one of those guys that we don't think of wanting him because he's not sexy. He's not a sexy name, but he's your QB2 on a 2 QB team or a super flex, and you're gonna be happy with the results. So, all right, that's the news and notes portion of the show. I think we nailed a lot of information there. We did a little good. We did some good dissecting, but we're gonna go in. As people know, this is a brand new show. Just been doing this. I know I've lost count of how many episodes, but we got to be within that 10 range, 11 range, something like that. So
This
this
is
is a
our
new.
10th. This is our 10th episode,
Oh,
buddy.
I mean, we should have thrown a party, dog. I mean, the thing. But so thank God JP's keeping track, man. This is our first time, but hopefully we will have many shows like this every year, and we're gonna talk my guys. We're gonna talk about some guys that we feel maybe people are lower than they should be, or even if they're getting drafted or they're getting valued at a certain rate, which seems fair. We think that they can outperform it and come up better than people are thinking. We're gonna go through QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then we're gonna have a bonus guy. Someone that we just couldn't leave off our list. So we're gonna take turns going back and forth. Let's start at the QB position. I'm gonna let you go first, man. Who is your guy, your QB that you either have a lot on your team or that you like a lot, or you think that's gonna do well this year?
For me, I mean, and you're gonna know because I stick to my guns. For me, it's Jalen Hurts, man. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. That's my guy. I know that he's barely showing anything on the field. Nobody's seen enough for him, but I like him, and he's like the QB 15 right now on Dynasty League football on the DLF. I think he has the capabilities from either going from that spot from the QB 15 to cracking the top 10, like maybe eight from the 8 to 10 spot. I think that he has a possibility of doing that, man, with his legs, with his arms. You're talking about a guy here that have better stats. Yes, have better stats, have four more touchdowns and the same amount of interceptions and the same amount of games as Tua. So he played better than Tua in Bama. He had four more touchdowns than Tua in Bama. So I'm not giving up on this guy. He transferred and he left Bama, but I think that this guy's the truth, and I'm gonna stand by it.
I thought about doing Jalen Hurts because we talked about him. I love him too, man. But after that trade, I traded him away. I thought I'm gonna just stick away, probably let you run with it. Let's talk that really quick. What did you think? And it's a super flex league. I think my team is looking really nice. I thought I was a wide receiver away. I had a lot of quarterbacks. What did you think of that Jalen Hurts for Calvin Ridley straight up trade, dog?
Well, man, if you're going for a championship and you need a wide receiver, I think that move is magnificent. I love Calvin Ridley. Me and you talked about this. We both feel the same way. I think this guy has the potential of being the number one receiver in the league. Yes, me and Brandon have the same sentiment over this guy. We think he has the he has it all, the tools to be the number one wide receiver in the league. And when sometimes you have to give up upside to get upside. And if that's what you needed to run it back, which I saw your team in that league, it's ridiculous. It looks like you're gonna run it back. I I think it's a great move. You have to give up upside, but at the end of the day, what you're getting back from that upside at that position, plus what you already have, you're just putting yourself in a position to win, 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 man.
Yeah, and like I said, like you said, we love Jalen Hurts, but he also he has some concerns, right? And I think he has super high upside, but he does have some concerns. Calvin really not a lot of concerns, man. So sometimes you got to do that. You got to play that game, take a risk, or get rid of a risk,
Yeah. Hmm.
and lose a little upside, but to get that wide receiver. So I just wanted to. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, before the show, so I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Well, another thing we can talk about is the trade. They just traded for Gardner Minshew. You know what I'm saying? Back up to back him up. I'm not gonna say that doesn't look good because, bro, the way that Joe Flacco played was fucking terrible. You know what I mean? So I get it, but that's kind of like them getting a backup plan for Hurts and them not getting a backup plan for Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere in between those lines. You know what I mean? So that kind of makes when you're an owner, that kind of makes your trade even better because if anything ends up happening, which I'm trying to get Gardner everywhere just in case something happens. Because remember, your one thing that's resonated with me over this whole situation was when you told me that there's a new regime in that team and they don't owe any loyalty to him. And the NFL's always going to be the NFL. So that always resonated with me. So I'm getting a backup plan. I'm getting Gardner Minshew. I'm stashing him in my squad and my super flex leagues just in case something happens to my quarterback. That's something that's not going to cost you money. It might end up panning out. Gardner Minshew has had hell of a games in the NFL, maybe inconsistent at times, but he can get points. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Just to add to the trade that you made and why it's good and
that,
for in
that
my eyes is awesome.
and to be honest, that's a great thing to bring up. I should have put it in the sheet that we should have been ready to talk about it. I completely forgot about it. In all
No, but it
honesty,
came up. It's all good. It came up
yeah,
freestyle, baby. That's how we do it here. That's how you know that we're talking from the top of the head, baby.
yeah.
Let's get
Well,
it.
let me tell you what I think about that really quick, bro, because you did bring it up, man. One, I think right after they got Gardner Minshew, they released Nick Mullins, right? So I think this was more of a Joe Flacco, Nick Mullins sucks than Jalen Hurts sucks. So I really think this was more of a they wanted to upgrade their backup thing. And again, I don't know if Gardner Minshew did not have a mustache and did not have a mullet, nobody would give a fuck about Gardner Minshew. That's my that's my opinion, bro. My opinion is that he's not that good of a quarterback. I mean, he was on a team and he was the quarterback of that team who just got the first pick in the draft. Okay? And a lot of people are gonna tell you, oh, it's not Gardner's fault. Look, man, the QB gets the credit for the wins, the QB gets the credit for the losses. And I know they pulled him out of a couple games, but he played enough that his team was not good. Okay, and he was not good before that. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a to me, he's not a starting caliber quarterback. And now does that mean that he can't threaten Jalen Hurts? I think he can because the Eagles might be idiots. Okay, the Eagles drafted fucking Jalen Rager instead of Justin Jefferson. The Eagles drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside instead of DK Metcalf.
Mm.
So who knows what the fuck the Eagles know how to do or not do. So, who knows if they're going to fuck this all up. So they may fucking bench Jalen Hurts for Gardner Minshew. That's very possible, but I don't think it's because Jalen Hurts sucks. If they do that, in my mind, unless I see something on the field that makes me come back, 7 weeks from now and say, "Hey, I was wrong." I'm not worried about that unless it's the Eagles being idiots. So
No, yeah, there's a new regime there, so hopefully that's an end to that crap.
yeah.
You know what I mean? All
So
right, who's your guy?
well, so my guy, bro, I wanted to pick several guys, bro. You know me, dog. I just fucking like to talk about everybody, dog. So,
Yeah, me
but I-
too.
but
Me
I,
too.
but I wanted to talk about a guy that I didn't think we talked about that much, and that I did a little digging, bro. I think after watching the preseason and seeing the team around him, I like Zach Wilson, bro.
I knew it. I knew
I
it.
like I like Zach. I like Zach Wilson, bro. I like Corey Davis, and I like Elijah Moore, and Adam Gates is gone, and I'm liking it seems like they're doing the right things. All of a sudden, the Jets, who could never do anything right, seems like they're doing the right thing. Zach Wilson looks poised. He's got an arm. The people who know quarterbacks, the people who know NFL, everybody is pumping this guy up, this Zach Wilson guy up, and he got a lot of shit. He looks like a douchebag, a preppy fucking frat house guy. Everybody wants to punch him in the face. He gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of shit for that, right? Everybody loves Gardner Minshew because he has a mustache. Everybody hates freaking Zach Wilson because he looks like a prep. That's just the way it goes. But you see him play on the field, and you can get him so cheap, especially in redraft. You can get this guy so cheap. I mean, you could load up everywhere while everybody else is getting all these other quarterbacks. And if you're talking super flex redraft, he's so cheap, dog, that I just really think he's going to have a really good year. There's those reports now out of how much I like Trey Lance, but there's these reports out of San Francisco that he's hurt his finger, and Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
G and all that, and stupid Andy Dalton. I mean, could
Oh
Zach
my
Wilson?
God,
Could it
bro.
be? Could it be Zach Wilson versus Mac Jones for Rookie of the Year, dog? It's very possible that one of these guys could win Rookie of the Year if these other coaches keep these two other guys off the field. So very excited to see what Zach Wilson does this year.
I like him a lot too. Where everybody that picked him up late in drafts, kudos to you guys. I want to bring something up that we barely bring up on the show, but we have to cover all bases. If you guys are in a cap league with salary cap league and you guys need a cheap defense, grab the New York Jets defense. Remember, this was the defensive coach for the San Francisco 49ers that is now the head coach for the Jets. I like what they do. I like he's not even an offensive coach, and I already love what he's doing with this offense. So I can imagine what he's gonna do with the defense. The defense is super cheap. I think they're like 50 cents right now, at least in my leagues, and I had to bring that up because I think that's a massive, massive, come up, especially if you have a team that's stacked and you want to run it, you know, who knows? You want to go back to back championships like maybe Brandon's going for, and you need a cheap defense because you just got too much talent on your team. That's a defense I will go after. As far as Zach Wilson, I'm with you, my brother. I love the talent. I love the chemistry that he has with Corey Davis. He has Mims. He has Elijah Moore. Tyler Croft is the TE1. That's another thing I wanted to talk about here. He's a cheap option. He's probably out there in the free agent, and he is the tight end number one for the Jets. Everybody that's in a super flex TE premium, if you're listening to me, he is the TE1 for the Jets. Go get him. It can't hurt, especially if you need depth at that position. Just giving you some pointers here, man.
Oh yeah, and there you go, man. JP dropping the hits on the Jets, bro. The Dolphin fan likes the Jets, bro. That's right. You heard it here, first, folks. JP likes the Jets, bro. So let's keep the party moving. We are moving over to the running back spot. Who is your guy for running back this year, dog?
I'm gonna go with my guy, bro. This guy on DLF right now, he is the running back 24. And they've been hating on this guy, and they just keep freaking finding reasons to hate on this guy. I'm gonna go with my boy James Robinson from the Jaguars. I mean, first it was ETN. Oh, ETN's gonna eat up carries from this guy. When Myers came out saying that he wanted to use him in the slot, and a bunch of other things, and they were still hating on this guy when this guy had probably the best season from an undrafted rookie that we've seen in a really long time, if that. And he's the running back 24 right now. I think that he has the ability, even if that team is bad. If listen to me, if Trevor Lawrence just decides to use him half of what he used ETN in college, just off of passes, this guy's gonna eat a whole lot. Not including that he's a bowling ball when you give him a ball. From the looks of it, they're gonna be playing down a lot because they don't have a really good team. So I see James Robinson getting even more passes this year. He only has Carlos Hyde to back him up, which Carlos Hyde is a handcuff right now that's probably out there sitting in the free agents that you want to get if you have J Rob, which I've done already. So I don't know what else to say about this guy. He's done it already on the field. I don't know why I have to boost this guy up, and I don't know why he's the running back 24, Brandon. What's going on, bro?
Wow, man, you came out of left field, bro, and I love it. I love it. Let me say it again. I love it, bro. James Robinson, dog, left for dead with my boy ETN getting drafted there, but Urban Meyer pulling his stupid ass tricks. ETN goes down. J. Rob is right back where he started. They got no choice. They're gonna feed him the rock. Carlos Hyde is dust. He can't do shit, and they got nobody else there, bro. They didn't grab a free agent running back. They didn't grab Royce Freeman. They didn't get Wayne Gallman. It's gonna be James Robinson. All right. So for me, you are 100% correct, bro. I think I mean, you said he's going as 24. That's a low. That's as low as you can get to be an RB2. You can't go if you're running back 25, you're an RB3. So that's a low end
They have
RB2.
they have Kareem Hunt in front of him. They have Cam Akers in front of him. They have Travis Etienne in front of him. They have Josh Jacobs in front of him. What the
Yeah.
hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, for a dynasty, just for me, my take is if you are not a contender, trade James. I'm trading James Robinson. I traded him in a league just actually like 3 days ago. As soon as this news hit, I traded him because when I tried to trade him all off season, nobody wanted him. But I was able to get something for him. I'm trying to think of what I got. I think it was a 2023 first, which is supposed to be an amazing running back class. So if you can trade him to, at least for me, and you tell me if you think differently. I mean, ETN is supposed to come back, and they've already proven that they don't like J Rob. So I'm not. I mean, I think for this year, he's your guy. I think he's gonna have another really good year. But if I'm in Dynasty and I'm not contending, I'm trying to get out. I'm using this sliver of hope, this light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm trying to get out before Urban Meyer and the Jags fuck me over again, bro. But if not, and you're a contender, you ride this guy. Ride this guy because he's not going to be the running back 24 at the end of the season. He's going to be a top 15, maybe 16 running back this year. That's what I believe, and book it in the books.
I say that he hits 10 top 10 at the 10 spot or 12. That's my range for him. I
Well, that's
don't care.
spicy.
I
I need
don't
I
care.
need a glass of water. Hold on. I
Yeah,
need a glass of
I
water.
don't care that Myers is there. I'm pretty sure that even if ETN comes back, he's gonna use him at the slot like he wanted to use him to begin with. That was his plan with ETN the whole time. The hate was never on J Rob. The hate was on Laviska Shenault. So I kind of disagree with you there. There was never any hate towards him. Yeah, the pick makes it look like the hate is there, but he came out and said it. There's an article that he wanted to use him at the slot. So that means that he didn't like Laviska Shenault, and he liked something that he saw in him. I'm not saying that he wasn't going to use him at running back as well, but that wasn't his main concern. His main concern was using him at the running back at some instances, some packages, and then using him in the slot to run routes because according to Mayer's moves, he runs really good routes. You know,
Well,
but
we're like you said, we're not always going to agree on things, and that's what makes the show good,
me
bro.
personally, yeah, me personally, sorry to cut you off, my brother. Me personally, I just made a huge trade. I traded Derrick Henry, and I ended up getting J. Rob, Miles Gaskins, and I believe it was Sutton for Derrick Henry. Why? Because Derrick Henry is 28 already. I'm not saying Derrick Henry is not going to ball, but he's 28. Gaskins is 23. J. Rob's 23. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Gaskins is 22, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a second. No, Gaskins is 24, and J. Rob is 23. So I got two starting running backs and a number one wide receiver for Derrick Henry. I was trying to get some picks. I wasn't able to get a pick. I might have, yeah, actually, I might have got on a second or a third. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But it depends what situation you're in. And I agree with Brandon. If you have J Rob and you're not in a contention and you can get the most you've ever gotten for a guy like that, go get it for him. But if you're contending, I think it'd be stupid.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm even me. If I'm not very high on him dynasty wise, but if I have him and I'm contending, you don't trade him away right now unless you can get even like some crazy someone loves him and you can get some crazy deal. But that's a nice trade that you had there, bro. I think that you with that. I think Sutton puts it over the top for me. I would have been skeptical of just doing it for those two running backs, but I think you add Sutton, who I think we're both very high on. I think that puts the trade over the top in favor of you, bro. So let's move over. So I'm my running back. I almost did it. I almost did it. I almost was gonna do Damian Harris, but I've been talking about him too fucking much, and I did not want to talk about him anymore. So I'm gonna do my boy DeAndre Swift, bro. Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
talk some DeAndre Swift. I don't get the hate. I don't understand it. He's going back. He's going as a running back 20. This guy was a second round pick last year. He took over the backfield as the year went on. He got like 36 goal line touches. Okay, he's a PPR monster. Okay, and I've heard these excuses. What's this guy's name? Freaking Jamal Williams. Okay, I like Jamal Williams, fine, bro, but
No,
he's
that's
not.
just
He's
death.
not. He's not DeAndre Swift, bro.
No,
I've
bro.
heard. I've heard that he plays for the Lions. It's gonna be a bad team. Hey, brother, didn't James Robinson play for the Jaguars, the worst team last year? Wasn't he an RB1 last year? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So,
sir.
and I mean, as much as you like J. Rob, I think DeAndre Swift is a much better running back
Oh, come on. Of course.
okay, and he catches the ball. So if you're on a bad team, you want the guy who's going to catch the ball because they're going to be behind a lot. Okay, this guy has the whole skill set. He can run routes, he can catch, he can block. All right. I know he's been dealing with a groin injury. There's been some Dan Campbell comments about we don't know if he's going to be ready. That guy was taking while Dan Campbell was saying that. I was reading freaking reports of the same day and days before and days after practice reports. This guy was getting a heavy workload. Okay, he was getting goal line work. He was running around. He wasn't on the side riding the exercise bike protecting his groin. That guy was going in practice hard all day. I think it was coach speak. DeAndre Swift is going as the running back 20. That's fucking smoking crack. Okay. He's going to be a top fucking 12, top 14 back in my eyes in PPR. I buy him everywhere. You can get him in the fourth round, sometimes fifth round. Okay. You can go wide receiver heavy in your draft and you can make this guy your wide receiver, your running back 2. You can make him your running back 3 and just roll over people during the
No,
season.
even
There's
your
so
running
many.
back, even your running back one, bro. You can make your running back,
I
bro.
mean, if you want to get crazy and make him your
Yeah,
running back
I
one,
mean,
you can
one.
do it. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, you can do it, right? You can do it. So that's my point. You can make him your running back run one, and he's going as running back 20. DeAndre Swift, my guy, going to run over the league this year. That's my take.
I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to add one more thing to just add to your point. If you don't believe that this guy's not gonna catch passes, just go look how many times Goff used to dump the ball off to all his running backs, to Gurley and to Henderson and to everybody else, bro, and even Akers. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go look at how many times this guy loves to dump the ball. He loves to use his running backs and his tight ends. He's known for that. So this just cements what Brandon is saying, and I think we're ready to move on to the next position.
All right, man. We're halfway through the next position, bro. This is the wide receiver room, bro. Who is your guy, though? Who is it? Who is it that JP likes with the receivers, man?
I like, man, to be honest with you, it's there's so many guys, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I like a lot of wide receivers, but I think Cortland Sutton, man. I like Cortland Sutton right now. He's the wide receiver 25. I guess everybody forgot about this guy because he destroyed his knee last year at the beginning of the season. You can get him right around where you get Rashad Bateman, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, and Devontae Smith. Even Chase Claypool, I rather have this guy before any of those guys right now because he already caught a touchdown pass from Bridgewater. Yeah, his knees he's coming back from a knee injury, but look, man, one of my favorite wide receivers, in Allen Robinson, had a knee injury. He's came back from it beautifully. He's still one of my top receivers in a lot of my leagues. So I don't let injuries really, you know, cloud my judgment too much. Yeah, they're there, but I think that he can definitely be top 15 by the time this year's said and done. I think he moves up 10 to even 12 spots, maybe. You know, depending on how much Teddy can get him the ball. Because that's the only thing that concerns me with his situation more than his injury is Teddy Bridgewater. Because he's very efficient. He doesn't make mistakes and he doesn't take risks. So that may cut into some of the targets that Cortland Sutton would have got if, let's say, Drew Lock was starting. Because Drew Lock's a little, crazy, but at the end of the day, he was letting it go and he was using that. He had that preseason game where he was shooting everybody for 30, 40 yards, man. Hamler had 2 catches for over 100 yards. I think Judy had over a 30-yard plus catch. Sudden, everybody got some that day. So when you go from lock to more efficient quarterback, that's going to take a little bit of targets away. But I think this guy gets back to the track that he was on before his injury.
I agree, man. I like Sutton, bro. I like him a lot, dude. I like Jerry Judy, but I think Sutton, you get him. People forget how young he is. He's an alpha. He's got the alpha profile. He can go up and get the ball. The knee, I mean, he looked a little hesitant at first, but I saw a couple cuts on Twitter. I was watching some videos, and he shook some guy right out of his freaking cleats, bro. It was an amazing move by this guy, and he cut on a knee on a dime. And I think that all it takes, you have an injury, right? Or you've been rehabbing from an injury. When you come back from something, sometimes you're a little hesitant, right?
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
don't
You're scared. That's called it's pretty much it's bro, you're traumatized from the injury. It
and you
takes
don't
time
want to
for
go.
you to yeah, it takes time for you to get back to normal. Yeah, it's called trauma, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to. You're afraid to trust it. You don't want to have to go through that rehab process again. You don't want to have to deal with that crash, that feeling again. So you're afraid to trust it, man, right? And all you need sometimes is that one play, right? We always talk about that. The NFL player, he needs to get hit again. He hasn't been playing a while. He has
Hmm.
to remember that getting hit ain't that bad. It's the same for a guy who fucked up his knee. You got to make that cut. You got to make that move. And I think I saw that move because it was like right after that cut, all of a sudden, Sutton had this like pep in his step, bro, and it looked like he felt like finally okay. So I think it's the wheels up for Sutton. I think he's gonna have a big year, bro. I'm excited for him, bro, and that's a good pick on your end, dog.
I love what you did there with the all of a sudden. Woo!
Uh,
Smoking hot, bro.
I surprise myself sometimes, bro. How good I am,
Freestyle,
bro.
freestyle.
All right, dog. So I'm moving into the wide receiver. I had two guys to talk about, so maybe I'll save one of them for my bonus guy, bro. It was a tough one, but I'm gonna go with a guy that I just bought in one league and I've been buying everywhere. Julio Jones.
Hmm.
Julio Jones. Um, I think people forget how good this guy is, dog. I think he's older. He's coming off an injury-plagued season, so the concerns are valid. The concerns for Julio Jones this year are valid, but I think the upside, people forget just how good the upside is. He's moving from a bad quarterback in my eyes, an overrated quarterback in my eyes, Matt
Super, super,
Ryan,
super.
to an underrated quarterback, all right, a better quarterback, a younger quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. He has a guy like AJ Brown, and we all love Calvin Ridley, but Calvin Ridley has just finally started reaching his superstar potential. AJ Brown hit it his first season. Okay, he's an alpha all by himself. So now, you're going to have teams that are used to double coveraging and bracketing coverage over on AJ Brown. I think people are not going to be used to Julio Jones being on the field with these people. If Julio can stay healthy, he could have one of his best seasons in a very long time, and I think he can get touchdowns, which he used to not be able to get over there with Matt Ryan.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
if you are a contender and Julio Jones is on a rebuild team, People don't want Julio Jones, really. People are afraid because of his age and because of his injury history. People are afraid of holding the Julio Jones bag too long. Next year might be too late. So you can get Julio Jones. And if you're a contender, that means Julio Jones is not going to be your number one. It means he's not going to be your number two. You have the potential to slide Julio Jones like I did. I got Devontae Adams. I got Deontay. I got Godwin, and I just bought Julio Jones aboard, bro. Okay, so now, I can play matchups. And if you don't even have a wide receiver core like that, and you have a great number one, and you have an iffy number two, he's a great number two to have. And if you need a number three, if you can get Julio Jones for a second round pick and some change, okay, and you can slide him in as your number three wide receiver, you just upped your team. Okay, you have the best wide receiver three in the whole league, guaranteed. Okay, and in startup drafts, you can grab this guy so fucking late, because no one wants to be left holding the bag. Well, let me tell you something. We talk about trading guys all the time. We talk about trading Cook, DeAndre, but let me tell you, you trade them away for when they're still expensive, but then you buy them back when people don't want them anymore again. You trade them away when they're 29, 28. You get a shit ton for them. And then you come back when they're 31, 32, and they still got a little bit of juice left, and you buy them cheap. That's how you do it. Trade high, buy low. Julio Jones is the guy I'm buying low and who I think is going to have a great fucking year.
Brandon dropping that knowledge, baby. Woo! He's on fire today, boy. Let me tell you, he's on fire. But yeah, man, I agree with you. I actually think that he gets a career high on TDs. He has the possibility of beating his TD output in Atlanta.
Definitely.
Obviously, he played already most of his career in Atlanta. I don't think he's gonna outproduce what he did in Atlanta, but I definitely think he gets to crack that TD, bro. That TD high, I think he gets to crack it. I think Tannehill's super underrated. I like him throwing and airing it out. I think he has the arm to air it out to Julio Jones once Julio Jones gets past the defense, which is something that Matt Ryan obviously couldn't do. And besides what Brandon mentioned, he couldn't find Julio Jones in the end zone for the life of him. Julio Jones was all yak and yards and receptions. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I agree with you, man. He is. If you're contending and you need that one guy and you can get this guy for a two, I would do it in a heartbeat, because he's gonna get that volume and he's not gonna get the double team. You can't double team anybody there. You can't double team AJ Green, and you can't double team AJ Brown, and you can't double team Julio Jones, because it's gonna be too lopsided for the defense. So yeah, I agree with you, man.
And again, a two might be a pipe dream, but a couple of seconds, bro. Or if you make a bigger package deal like what I did, I gave away a first, okay, and I got Julio Jones, I got Myles Gaskin, okay, and then I flipped a couple of wide receivers I didn't want, some younger semi upside and some defense, and I got the number one defense in the Rams. So things like that where you can get a lot back, okay, for them. And again, if you're not a contender, now's the time, right? The people got that excitement. You hear the excitement in my voice. Now's the time to try to sell them again. Just like that. In another league, we're in together. We're in both leagues together. In another league, that Foot Clan league, right? I traded Julio Jones and Tom Brady for a 2023 first to a team, right? Now, it's not a super flex league, right? So again, value, right? If you're a contender, you buy them for a couple seconds or a package deal. And if you're not a contender, you use this information, you use the new excitement of him going to Ryan Tannehill and a new team, and you ship them out if you can't use them. And that's how you don't get hold in the bag. So that's enough there. Let's move on. We are almost done, bro. I think we're making decent time, but we're dropping nuggets left and right, dimes all day. We're going into the tight end position, dog. Who is your guy? I hope you don't steal my guy.
Bro. Bro, I'm between two guys, bro, because fuck, man. You know what? Go. You go first. I'm gonna let you go first, so I don't steal your thunder, because I'm good with two guys here. Each one, I got a great explanation for both of them. So you go ahead and go first. Go ahead.
I'm gonna send you a fruit basket for that, bro. I'm gonna send you a basket of appreciation, bro. Bro, my boy. You know I gotta talk about Hawk, bro.
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson, dog.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Bro, I've been touting this guy forever. I think it was probably even mentioned him the first podcast we ever had. I think when it was one of the Would You Rather, and we said, "What's the answer?" And I said, "The answer always is T.J. Hawkinson, bro."
Yeah,
And just like we talked about Swift, okay, he's gonna get the targets. There's no wide receivers of consequence over there. They got rid of Rashard Perryman. Okay, they got Quintus Cephas and Tyrell Williams and Amon St. Brown, a bunch of okay wide receivers. All right. The tight end is going to eat. He is going to eat. He's going behind Kyle Pitts. He's going behind Mark Andrews. And he's young as fuck. He's going into his third, I think either his third or fourth year. I think it's his third year, where this is when they really start to evolve. This is when they really start to come into their own. Okay. He's a beast. And he's going to eat, and he's going to eat, and he's going to eat. He's going to get touchdowns. He's going to get PPR points. If he's in tight end premium, he's going to score right up there with the top end wide receivers, because that's what they do in tight end premium. Okay, and you can get this guy in the freaking fifth round sometimes. All right, so you can load up on your first 2 rounds, and then you slip in this guy, and he's gonna be a beast. I'm excited to see him play. I think we saw people forget Jared Goff. He threw the ball to Higbee. He threw the ball to fucking Gerald Everett. If you would have put Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee into one tight end, they would have been a top 5 tight end together. Okay? Jared Goff was throwing them the ball. Well, guess what? There is no Everett. There is no Higbee. Hawk is better than both of them to combine. Hawk is going to blow up. And I won't be surprised if we're talking about him at a top 3 tight end next year. I think he's going to surpass Kittle. He has the ability to surpass Kittle, and Kelsey's getting older. We talked about that. Hawkinson, he's the answer. Lock it in.
yeah, man. I've been high on this guy. It's just the obvious, he's freaking young, bro. He's 24 years old, and he's the only target there, man. There's nothing else to talk about. Jared Goff made 2 TEs viable and dynasty relevant, and he's the only one there. I love the selection, man. That's why I let you go first, because he was gonna be one of my guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Darren Waller, bro. I'm tired of this, bro. This guy's a TE4, bro, or we care. Well, this guy should be the number one TE, period, bro. Like, period. And I'm gonna tell you why. He's the number one wide receiver on the team. Forget about the tight end. He's the number one wide receiver on the team. Listen to what I'm telling you guys. There's nobody there that's better than that guy. There's nothing but Brian Edwards and Ruggs hype under him, and he's the number 4 wide tight end. George Kittle has one good season under his belt. We haven't even seen Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelsey. Okay, I can give you that, but he's 28 years old. He's 3 years younger than Kelsey. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with him. They got the same more or less a situation. I'm betting that this offense does better than last year, and he keeps his tear, man. For me, honestly, by the time next year's said and done, I'm gonna have Waller, probably Travis Kelce, TJ, and then George Kittle. And watch out, I don't have Mark Andrews in front of Kittle, because there's nobody in Baltimore to throw the ball to, and that was one of my other guys, because who else has rapport with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? So, I mean, for me, this is why I have my own rankings. This is why I like to have my own rankings. Write them down, take a picture, whatever, because I don't agree with the rankings sometimes on the site. But this is what happens in the draft. So this is how they have everything, rank wise. They have everything put down. I just think that Darren Waller is better than all these guys at this point, man.
I mean, I don't really have much to add to that, bro. I'm big on the Waller train. I love Darren Waller, and you said it. He's the number 1 wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. I really like Brian Edwards. I think he's gonna have a really good year, but he's not gonna beat out Darren Waller as the number 1 option. And you heard what you said. He's the number 1 wide receiver on the team. I mean, T.J. Hawkinson is the number 1 wide receiver on the Lions.
Team, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
These were
that is you see the theme. You see the theme of these tight ends. Guess what? When Kittle had his great year, he was the number 1 wide receiver on that team. But now he's got Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuels. He's no longer the number 1 option, or he's not going to get the number 1 option treatment. like he did before. And like, what did you say? Mark Andrews. That was another guy you wanted to talk about. Why? Because Bateman is injured and Sammy Watkins is old and can't do shit. So guess what? Mark Andrews, the number one wide receiver on the team. Do you see a fucking pattern when you're picking tight ends? Okay, you want to pick the guys who have the ability to be the number one option on the team. Easy fucking peasy. Move on. Let's move on, dog. We're that's it. We're here. It's the last one. This is
Bring
the
him home, Brandon. Bring him home.
this is the bonus content. We're going in. This can be a QB. It can be a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end. It could be a kicker. If you want to talk kicker, go the fuck ahead. But tell him, JP, who is your last guy for the 2021 football season?
I'm going with fucking T. Higgins, bro. I
T.
love T.
Higgins.
Higgins. I'm going with T. Higgins, man. I think this kid has the tools. They have Jamar Chase in front of him. I think it's bullshit. But people get rookie fever and stuff like that. I think he's gonna separate himself from Jamar Chase. I'm not. I think that he's gonna separate himself in the sense that he's gonna claim the alpha spot over there. Jamar Chase is gonna be a great wide receiver, but I just think T Higgins is just got more confidence with Burrow right now than Jamar Chase. Has confidence in his whole game period, and I think that he's the number one. He's a wide receiver 11. I think he's gonna finish top 10 for sure. You know. I got no doubt about that. Setback or injury from either him or Burrow at the QB position. I'm loving T. Higgins this year, bro. He's young. He's got rapport with his quarterback. He's 22 years old. He's a big boy. And he's coming in his second season, man. You know what I'm saying? Same coach, same quarterback, same team. So let's see what happens.
I mean, I love the pick. I love the fucking pick. I think you and me have always been on T. Higgins, and we've been disappointed since Chase came there. Even before he was having his drops and all that, we thought they should grab we thought they should grab the lineman, right? We thought Higgins was more than capable to be the alpha there, and you're just betting on talent. You're betting on your belief that T. Higgins was the alpha before Jamar Chase came in, and he's gonna be the alpha after Jamar Chase came in, and people are still betting on Chase. So that means you can get the value on Higgins, and it's going to be Higgins, and it's going to be Burrow, and it's going to be them lighting up the league for the next 10 years. T. Higgins, fuck yeah, bro.
If you have Chase, trade him straight up for T. Higgins and get something else with T. Higgins. I'm pretty sure you can do it. I'm pretty sure you can get a first and T. Higgins and a first for Chase. I would do it in a heartbeat. I will do it in a heartbeat.
That's spicy, dog. Like, seriously. All right, bro. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. And
another episode down in the books, baby. But by next week, we're gonna be talking football, though, man. Guys,
hold on.
man.
It's my bonus. I got one more. It's my
Oh
bonus.
yeah.
Let me throw my bonus. I got to talk about this guy. He was the other wide receiver, and I got to talk Deontay Johnson, bro. I got to talk Deontay Johnson because he's going as the wide receiver 22, and I think is disrespectful, dog. I think he's a fucking great wide receiver. He's especially in PPR. We've talked about it. He could be a wide receiver 1 this year. Okay, and guess again, 24 is the last wide receiver you could be to be a wide receiver 2, and he's going 2 spots ahead of that. So that means everyone thinks that he's barely gonna be a wide receiver 2, and I'm telling you, I believe he has the potential to be a wide receiver 1. I don't know. I'm not a math wizard. But 22 minus 12 is 10. That's 10 fucking spots difference, and that's a lot of fucking points between that. So get the value. He's gonna have a big year. I don't think Big Ben is as done as people think. I think the Steelers, the more I've looked into it, I think the Steelers are going to surprise people. We forget that they were 11-0 last year before they fell apart. 11-0, okay? Big Ben, I know he's old, injury prone, but he's another year removed from that elbow surgery. So we all know that after a year, now you're a year after that surgery, you feel better. You do better. You can be better. So Deontay Johnson, badass wide receiver for the Steelers. Get him. He's going to be big time, bro. And that's the fucking show.
Yeah. Let's go. By next week, we'll be talking some real football. Thank you guys for tuning in all season, man. We really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to us in the channel, leave a comment, hit a like, follow us everywhere. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well, man. Hit up Brandon on his Uncommon Sense on Twitter. Hit me up at the Salazar 305 or at the Dynasty Life MIA. You can catch us in a week or so. Peace.
Peace.